Arham was a young boy with a heart full of dreams but a mind full of doubts. He lived with his mother in a tiny house at the edge of the city, where every sunrise came wrapped in struggle yet covered with hope. His mother, a soft-spoken woman with tired eyes but an unbreakable spirit, worked tirelessly to give him the life he deserved. Arham always wondered how she managed everything: rent, school fees, food, even small treats on special days. She earned very little, yet somehow life kept going. Something about her felt magical. Every night, Arham would find her awake long after he slept. Sometimes standing at the window. Sometimes sitting on her prayer mat. Sometimes gently placing her hand on his head as if guarding him from the darkness of the world. But she never said a word. She just whispered something only she and God knew. Arham grew up carrying both gratitude and guilt in his heart. He wanted to help, but he was still too young. His mother always smiled and said, "Your time will come." A mother's prayer is enough to protect every dream you have. He didn't fully understand what she meant, but her words always warmed him. Years passed, and Arham became a teenager, smart, determined, but insecure. His classmates had expensive bags, good shoes, and pocket money. He had only one pair of shoes, stitched 3 times but still worn proudly. Sometimes people laughed at him, but he kept silent. His mother's smile was enough to silence every pain. One day, the school announced a scholarship exam. The winner would get full funding for higher studies. The competition was extremely tough, and many students with private tutors were preparing. Arham felt small, scared, and unsure. That night, he told his mother, "Ami, maybe I shouldn't try. Kids who are smarter and richer will take this chance." His mother took his hands gently and said, "When blessings come from God, they don't check your pocket, only your heart." But still, he lacked confidence. A week before the exam, Arham fell seriously ill. Fever, weakness, dizziness, everything came at once. The doctor said he needed rest. Arham lay in bed helpless, staring at the ceiling, feeling his dreams slipping away. His mother sat next to him all night, gently wiping his forehead with cold water. He didn't know, but she didn't sleep a single minute. When he became unconscious for a while, his mother placed her hand on his head and whispered her secret prayer. Tears slid down her face. Her voice trembled as she said, "Ya Allah, I have no one but you. My child has no strength left. Give him the power I cannot give. Write goodness for him. Protect his dreams even if life doesn't protect mine." She cried silently because she never wanted him to see her breaking. The exam day arrived. Arham could barely sit up. His mother helped him get ready. His legs were shaking, but when he looked at her face, he felt something inside him shift, like a light within him had suddenly awakened. "Go, Beta," she said softly. "My prayer walks with you." He reached the exam hall feeling no strength, no clarity. But strangely, as he sat at the desk, a wave of calmness washed over him. Questions that once scared him suddenly felt familiar. His mind cleared. His heart settled. Words began to flow. Numbers began to make sense. It felt as if someone was guiding him gently. For the first time, he wrote the entire paper with confidence. Days passed. Arham forgot about the exam and returned to his daily life. One morning, the school principal called his mother. Her voice trembled as she answered. The principal said, "Congratulations, Arham has secured the highest marks in the entire school." His mother's eyes filled with tears. She held her chest as if trying to hold her overflowing emotions. When Arham returned home from school, running and excited, she hugged him tightly. He was confused. "Ami, how did this happen? I wasn't even ready." She smiled with the gentlest pride. Sometimes, when a mother pleads to God for her child, even the impossible becomes possible. But life wasn't done testing them. A few months later, the family faced a crisis. Arham's mother suddenly lost her job when her shop shut down unexpectedly. Bills piled up. The landlord demanded rent. Arham thought of quitting studies and finding work. But his mother refused. A mother's hardship is not a burden for her child. Your only responsibility is to grow, to learn, to fly. Still, nights became colder, and food became scarcer. Arham felt helpless again, but every night, he saw his mother praying more intensely than ever. She never told him what she asked for, but the softness of her voice revealed both desperation and hope. One evening, when everything seemed to collapse, a letter arrived. It was from an international scholarship program. They had reviewed Arham's exam results and essays and selected him for a fully funded higher education abroad, including living expenses. He stared at the letter in disbelief. His mother held it with shaking hands, and tears fell like pearls onto the paper. Arham ran to her, knelt down, and said, "Ami, this is all because of you." She cupped his face, kissed his forehead, and whispered, "No, Beta, this is because of your hard work. My prayers just opened the door." Years later, Arham stood on a big stage, receiving an award for his achievements. Cameras flashed, audiences applauded, but the only eyes he searched for were his mother's. She sat in the front row, her old clothes replaced by a simple but clean dress, her proud smile shining brighter than all the lights in the room. After the ceremony, he walked to her slowly. She stood up, and before she could say anything, he placed the award in her hands. "This belongs to you," he said. "Your prayers built my world." She shook her head softly. A mother never builds a world for herself, only for her child. Arham hugged her tightly, closing his eyes as peace washed over him. In that moment he understood the true miracle. It wasn't luck, it wasn't chance, it was his mother's secret prayer, whispered every night, that carried him through every storm. And that was the day he realized. A mother's dua doesn't just protect a child. It writes their destiny with love no power in the world can break.